Dear ladies and gentlemen, every single one of us has come face to face with limits. Those invisible walls that whisper, you can't go further, you're not enough, this is where you stop. But I came to tell you today that limits are not final. They're just lines drawn by fear, by doubt, or by the voices of people who gave up too soon. If you're going to live the life you were created for, you must learn to push past the limits that try to hold you hostage. Limits are not permanent. They are simply opportunities for breakthroughs. The moment you stop accepting limits as truth is the moment you discover strength you didn't know you had. You may be tired, you may be stretched, you may feel like you're at your end. But when you lean into that pressure and push one more time, that's when transformation happens. It's in those breaking points where history is made, where destinies are unlocked, and where miracles begin to unfold. You weren't born to settle inside boundaries designed to cage you. You were created to rise, to expand, to step into the unknown with courage. The limit you face is not the end, it's the doorway to your next level. So today, I challenge you, don't stop where you feel resistance. Don't give up when it gets hard. Don't settle when your spirit says, there's more. Because if you keep pushing, if you keep believing, if you keep moving, you'll see that what looked like the limit was really just the beginning of something greater. 10 key points of the speech. Limits are often illusions created by fear and doubt. Every resistance point in life is a chance for breakthrough. Pushing past the limit, it requires courage to confront discomfort. Growth begins when you refuse to settle at your current level. Breakthroughs come after moments of intense pressure and struggle. Limits are not designed to stop you, but to strengthen you. Faith and determination fuel the power to move beyond barriers. What feels like the end is often the beginning of your next season. Destiny is unlocked by persistence, not by quitting too soon. Your life's greatest victories are waiting just beyond your limits. Limits are often illusions created by fear and doubt. Think about it. How many times in your life have you felt like you hit a wall, only to later discover that wall wasn't made of concrete, it was made of cardboard? Fear loves to dress itself up like it's bigger than it really is. Doubt whispers in your ear, don't even try, you'll fail. And before you even take the first step, you've already surrendered to a limit that was never real in the first place. Most of the boundaries we face are not external, they're internal. They live in our thoughts, in the stories we tell ourselves, in the lies we've believed for so long that we start calling them truth. Imagine a runner approaching the finish line. Her body is screaming, her muscles are burning, her lungs are on fire, and everything in her says, asterisk, you can't go another step. Asterisk, that moment feels like the limit. But athletes will tell you, it's at that exact moment, when you feel like you've got nothing left, that's when the second wind comes. That's when you push through the pain and realize there's more inside of you than you thought. And here's the truth. Life works the same way. Fear and doubt paint limits on your path not because they're unbreakable, but because they know if you push past them, you'll see just how powerful you really are. Some of you are standing at the edge of a dream, a calling, a breakthrough, but the only thing holding you back is the illusion of a limit. Fear says you don't have the resources. Doubt says you don't have the talent. Insecurity says you don't have what it takes. But let me tell you this, those voices are liars. They're shadows that look bigger than they are. The truth is, if you dare to step forward, if you dare to believe that there's more inside of you, you'll discover that the walls you thought would stop you are actually doors waiting to be opened. Of course, here's a ***, large expansion of key point 2 *** from asterisk. Push past the limits, asterisk in Stephen Furtick's motivational style without subtitle and conclusion. Dear ladies and gentlemen, when you push past the limits, you start to realize that the greatest battles you'll ever fight are not against the people around you, but against the voice within you. That inner voice is powerful. It can either propel you forward or chain you down. Many times, the loudest opponent in your life isn't the critic at work, the doubter in your family, or even the circumstances that seem to stack against you. It's the echo of your own fear. It's that whisper that says, asterisk, you've tried before and failed, why try again? Asterisk or asterisk, this mountain is too high, don't waste your strength climbing it. Asterisk, but here's what I want you to hear. Your inner dialogue can either drain your energy or ignite your courage. What you feed your mind becomes the fuel for your actions. If you constantly rehearse failure in your thoughts, you'll live in the shadow of that failure before you even step out. But if you choose to speak faith over fear, if you declare to yourself, asterisk, I am stronger than what I feel, I am capable of more than what I see, and I am built to outlast this storm, asterisk, then you rise above what's been trying to drag you down. Think about it. The walls of Jericho didn't fall because the people had stronger weapons. They fell because the people had stronger faith, a relentless belief that what was impossible could still collapse under obedience and perseverance. Sometimes the real breakthrough doesn't come when the walls fall, but when you stop believing they can keep you out. The moment you shift your mindset from limitation to possibility, you've already won half the battle. So every time fear tries to box you in, you need to talk back to it. When doubt says you're too weak, answer back, asterisk, but I'm still standing. Asterisk, when failure says you've reached your limit, answer back, asterisk, this is where I find my strength. Asterisk, don't just listen to the voice inside, lead it. Train it, direct it, because the mind that once imprisoned you can become the mind that empowers you if you choose to rewrite the narrative. Here's the asterisk asterisk large expansion of key point 3 asterisk asterisk from asterisk. Push past the limits at asterisk in that Stephen Furtick style motivational flow, starting strong without subtitle and without conclusion. Dear ladies and gentlemen, one of the most powerful truths about life is that limits often look permanent, but in reality, they are temporary. They feel like chains around your feet, like ceilings above your head, but they were never meant to define you. They were only meant to test you. When you hit a wall, the first instinct is to think, asterisk, this is the end. I can't go further. Asterisk, but if you look closely, you'll see that the wall isn't the end of your story. It's just a chapter, a moment that's asking you, asterisk, how bad do you want it? Asterisk, every person who has ever accomplished something extraordinary has faced a moment when the odds were stacked against them, when every sign pointed to defeat. But what set them apart wasn't the absence of limits. It was the refusal to let those limits have the final word. They pushed when it hurt. They believed when it seemed foolish. They stood when everything tried to knock them down. The truth is, breakthroughs are often hidden behind barriers. You don't discover what you're capable of until you face what tells you, asterisk, you're not capable. Asterisk, picture a seed planted in the ground. At first, it looks like it has been buried, surrounded by dirt, pressed down by weight. But what looks like burial is actually planting. The pressure isn't punishment, it's preparation. The seed must push through the dirt to reach the sunlight. That resistance doesn't stop its growth, it creates it. And the same is true for you. What you think is burying you is actually building you. The struggles you're facing are not there to define your limits. They're there to reveal your strength. And maybe that's exactly where you are right now. You've been pressing, you've been fighting, and it feels like the weight is too heavy. But if you dare to keep pushing, if you dare to believe that the pressure is working for your good, you will rise out of that dirt stronger than you ever imagined. Limits only win when you stop pressing, but the moment you choose to keep moving, to keep digging, to keep climbing, you prove to yourself and to the world that what looked like the end was actually the beginning of something greater. Here's the asterisk asterisk large expansion of key point 4 asterisk asterisk from asterisk. Push past the limits at asterisk in that deep, passionate, Stephen Furtick style flow, no subtitle, no conclusion, just a powerful continuation. Dear ladies and gentlemen, one of the greatest traps of limits is comparison. Nothing paralyzes progress faster than looking at someone else's lane and assuming that because they're further ahead, stronger, richer, or more talented, somehow you're disqualified from your own race. Comparison will convince you that your pace is too slow, your resources are too small, your opportunities are too late. But hear me clearly, you were never called to run someone else's race. You were called to run your own. Think about it. When you compare your chapter 2 to someone else's chapter 20, of course it feels like you're behind, but you're not behind. You're in process. Just because someone else's journey looks smooth doesn't mean it was without struggle. Every person you admire has their own scars, their own nights of doubt, their own limits they had to push past. The danger is, you're only seeing their highlight reel while you're living through your behind the scenes. And if you don't guard your perspective, you'll start believing you're unqualified simply because you're not where they are. But let me remind you, limits are personal. What feels like a giant to you may not be a giant to them, and that's okay. Because your fight is shaping you in ways theirs never could. Your battles are equipping you for victories that are designed for your assignment, your calling, your destiny. The purpose of your race is not to outpace them, but to outgrow you. The old you, the fearful you, the hesitant you, the doubting you. Every step forward, no matter how small, is still a step beyond the limit that tried to hold you yesterday. The truth is, when you stop comparing, you start growing. When you take your eyes off their race and focus on your lane, you realize that the finish line isn't a competition, it's a calling. There is room enough for everyone to win. Someone else's breakthrough doesn't cancel yours. Their success doesn't shrink your potential. In fact, it can inspire you to keep pressing, to keep pushing, to keep believing that if it's possible for them, then surely it's possible for you too. So, don't let comparison freeze you. Don't let it convince you that your story is too small or your progress too slow. Every step you take in your lane is still progress, and progress is proof that the limits you once believed in are already being broken. Here's the *** large expansion of key point 5 ** from **. Push past the limits * in that bold, flowing Stephen Furtick's style voice, no subtitle, no conclusion, just the full push of inspiration. Dear ladies and gentlemen, sometimes the greatest limit you face is not what's happening around you, but what's happening inside you. You see, the mind can become a battlefield where doubts, insecurities, and fears rise up like walls designed to block you from stepping into all you were made to be. Those inner voices whisper, *, you're not strong enough, you're not smart enough, you'll never make it, *, and if you listen long enough, those whispers become chains. But here's the truth, you were never meant to live chained to lies. Every limit that starts in the mind can be broken by the renewal of the mind. It's not just about pushing past physical barriers or external circumstances. It's about confronting the thoughts that try to sabotage your progress before you even begin. When you wake up and decide, *, I will not let fear dictate my steps today, *, you're already pushing past a limit. When you choose courage in the face of uncertainty, you're already tearing down walls. When you declare, I am capable, I am chosen, I am more than enough, *, you silence the lies that said you couldn't. Think about how many dreams never left the ground, not because they weren't possible, but because the person holding the dream didn't believe they were worthy of it. How many gifts remain hidden because someone convinced themselves they weren't good enough to use them? The mind can either be the greatest cage or the greatest catalyst. That's why pushing past the limits in your thinking is so essential. If your thoughts change, your life changes. If your mindset shifts, your path opens up. And I want you to understand this. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to move forward in spite of it. Confidence isn't never doubting. It's choosing faith louder than doubt. Every time you confront those inner limits, every time you tell yourself, *, yes, I can, *, even when you don't feel ready, you are breaking through the invisible barriers that hold so many people back. You're not just pushing past the limits, you're reprogramming your future, rewriting the narrative, reshaping what is possible for generations after you. So don't underestimate the power of your inner world. Don't take lightly the thoughts you feed, the words you declare, the beliefs you nurture, because what you believe inside eventually manifests outside. And if you want to see your limits fall in your life, it starts with refusing to let them live in your mind.